Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. I have something really fun to go over today. So I gave myself a challenge, and on the screen here you have two squarish images, and I wanted to see, is there a line of code where I can make them a circle? Like can I format these pictures just using code as opposed to in production like Photoshop or something? And so as I scroll down the page, I have a dummy page here. I came up with the first image. I was able to make that square a circle, put a border around it, and then I was trying something that I've done in the past that I wanted to brush up on. Is there a better technique? And spoiler alert, there is a better technique than what I shared with you before, which is the parallax effect. And so I created a circle with the parallax effect. Now that's not very practical. I did it, and I just wanted to see, can I get this done? And I could, but I decided to mock up a page. This isn't a real page, but I put some text on a page and how can I use these elements? And so I thought the circle would be fun if you have a portrait or something, a profile pic that you want to share, or, it's just fun to have, these circle images. But then the parallax effect, I thought, okay, that's honestly doesn't look good as a circle. There's nothing you can really do with that. It's kind of gimmicky, and parallax is always gimmicky, but sometimes a little gimmick is fun. And so what I did is I came up with this interaction here where I was able to take that image, put an overlay on top of it, a border with rounded corners, and I thought that's a lot of fun. Not something that I would use all the time, but I can find some use for this occasionally, and it can really help emphasize whatever content I want to put into that box. And so today we're going to look at how do you create this parallax effect. How did I do this? I'm going to walk through all of the lines of code. It's something that you can do inline with CSS in any LMS. And so we're going to look at a canvas page and we're going to see how can I put this image and this effect on a canvas page. So stay with me and I'm going to walk through exactly how I did that. Alright, so thanks for staying with me. We're going to look at how to create this parallax effect, and I'm actually going to hop over to a W3 Schools tab and break down this code for you. And so this is outside of Canvas, but we're just going to use this to look at the code. So the very basic elements of this parallax effect is there are three parts to it, and one is a section, and then you have a div, and then you have another div, and then you have the content within the div. What this section part does is it controls the spacing. And you can see in the code here, now I have two sets of codes here. One is what I would have in Canvas, which is the abbreviated code. And then I did it again with everything expanded so that we can really look at what these properties are. And then if I hop over here, then I can see, okay, here's the one parallax effect, and I created two. I ran the page with two parallax effects. And it's essentially the same code but written differently, and I'm going to walk through what that means to you. And so the section is essentially setting up the parameters. And right now, for this, I don't really need a margin, but just for the sake that parallax only is an effect if you're scrolling. And so I put 800 pixels of margin above and below, just so that I'd have some space that I can actually do some scrolling. And then with the second one, I took out that margin, but I kept 1,000 pixels below just so that I can, push it up to the top of the screen. But that isn't something that you would really be worried about. You'd probably just have this section, and I don't think you would need to style it. Now the div here, this is the parallax box, and so we're looking at the graphic, the corners, the border, the settings, and we're going to walk through what that all means. And so for the first three style items that I have for this div, is I have display flex. And so what I'm saying there is that this is a flexible layout, and you can see that if I move left and right, then it adjusts. And so that's what the display flex is. I have align items center and justify center, and that's saying that I'm going to put a card in here and I want this horizontally. That's the justify content. I want it to be centered. And then aligning the items, I also want them to be centered as opposed to top, bottom, left, or right. So this card is just going to sit right in the middle, even if I adjust the screen. So if I move it way over here, this is what a phone or a tablet in portrait mode would see. And then if I expand this out, then you would get the more of the landscape view, or a desktop, laptop would see something like that. But you can see that it's responsive. And so that's what I'm doing with this code right here. I put in a minimum height, and you can adjust this however you want. It might depend on the image that you're using. But I put the minimum height as 340 pixels tall. And then I put a padding of 30 pixels. And you can see that as I shrink it, you can see those 30 pixels right along the edge here. And so there's space between my card and the border of the parallax div. So the overflow hidden is really preventing the content from extending beyond the corners over here, the elements right there. And then for the background, I wrote it in short form right here, but I'm actually going to jump down to this section right here and look at the expanded form. What are we looking at? And so I have a background color here, and so if this fails to render or something, at least there's some kind of color. And then I have a background image, and this could be from Unsplash if you wanted. If you're doing the parallax effect, I would recommend the image be very high resolution. You'd want it to essentially be the entire page. Even though you're not going to see the page all at once, there's going to be hidden things you want it to reveal. And so you want it to go from the top of this page all the way to the bottom without any issues with pixelation or having to blow up an image. You want the image to already be large, and that way you can expand it, and all of this part that's hidden is being revealed as I move around, and that's the whole purpose of a parallax effect. So you want that to be large. If you upload the image to your course, if you're in Canvas, then I recommend that you do that, and the URL would be your institution name, whatever the number is for the course, and then every file that you upload, every picture would have an ID. And so go into the files in your course, look for that ID. You might have to right click and find the URL for that, but there's a unique code for every picture that you upload, and so you'd put that right there. Next we have the background position, and I put center and center. And so what we're looking at is horizontally, this is centered as opposed to left or right. And then the second center would be the vertical alignment. So top, bottom, center, those would all change. If I were to change this to, for example, let's put right. Let's center that right. I'm going to run this page again, and we're going to scroll down to the bottom. And then you can see as I make this smaller or bigger, it really focuses on the right side of the image, as opposed to this, which is focused on the center. And so the center is this AI chip. If I move this out of the way a little bit, you can see. And as I adjust the width of the screen, then that center stays centered. As opposed to over here, the right side is what I find, that's where the priority is. And so as I expand it left, then it opens up the page left. And so you can play around with those. If you find a picture where the emphasis is in the middle, just use center and center. Next I have the background size, and I have it cover. So it's going to cover the page, but it only shows me the part that's inside of this box. And so that's important because I don't want to be scrolling and then the image doesn't go all the way to the top and then you get white space that would look kind of weird. And so you want to make sure that it's covering the entire canvas of the page. And then the background repeat is no repeat. I don't want some kind of tiled effect. I just want one picture, and we're going to scroll through one picture. And then the background attachment is fixed, and that's where the magic is. This one line is the magic of the parallax effect. And that's saying that this picture is staying put regardless of me scrolling up and down. And so that gives it kind of like the pictures in the background, and on the website, I cut a hole in the actual website right here, and we're peeking in the hole, and then as we scroll up and down, it reveals parts of the picture. As opposed to if, suppose this is a picture instead of text, this is a picture of text, and I scroll up and down, and then the picture would go up and down on the page with me. That's how you normally have a picture. On all websites, on your Canvas pages, you put a picture on the page, and as you scroll the page, the picture would move along with it. We don't want that for our parallax effect. We want it to be fixed, and so when we scroll up and down, then we get this magical effect. And then moving on, we have the border radius, 18 pixels. If it didn't have a border radius, then this picture would just have a pointy corner right here. If I were to change this to, let's double it, maybe 36 pixels and run that page, then remember I have two images. Here's the one, this is still fixed at 18, and the second one would be 36. And so you can see it's about twice as round as the one above it. If I were to change this to something silly like 100 pixels, just so that we can see what that looks like, then we have, that's what 18 looks like. This is what 100 looks like. It's very rounded, and so you might like that. It just depends on what effect you're going for, and so I'm going to change that back. The last thing we have here in this section is the border. And so we have a border, it's 6 pixels, and you can see right here by the A, you can see that 6 pixel thickness. It's a solid line, so just a solid line around here as opposed to dotted or dashed or another kind of border. And then I have something that's fairly black. It's kind of like a charcoal. It's not perfectly black, but it's a very dark border. And so those are the properties of the border. And that's the extent of the parallax portion of it. And now we just need to create this card that sits within the parallax effect. And that's going to be a little more simple. And so we have the div. The div is this container right here. I put a max width of 570 pixels. That's arbitrary. I just don't want it to expand. You know, if I contract it, then you can see the box contracts, and that's just fine. I could put a minimum width if I don't want it to contract too much, then I could do that. I don't think it's important. I think it's actually better this way, because then if you have a phone or something, then it'll respond to that width of the screen if they're viewing it in vertical mode. But if you extend it too much, like if you have a very large monitor, I don't want this to keep going and going. I kind of want the box to be fixed. And you might not like that. You might want to put it at a percentage, or you might not say that there's a max width. It's just up to you. And the padding, in this case, instead of the padding is between the two borders, this padding is between the text and the wall of the box right here. I don't want these words to go right up against the edge of the wall here on the top or the sides or the bottom. And so I just put 26 pixels all around. Again, it's an arbitrary number. That might be 30, it might be 20, it's whatever you want. But I just want there to be some space so that it can breathe. The background color is this kind of taupe color there. The border radius is 12 as opposed to 18, so you can see this little radius here is a lot tighter than the one up above, and you can choose whichever you want. The text align is center. I did look at it left. I looked at the options, and I think for this effect I just want it to be centered. Simple. The border, instead of 6 pixels, this is 2 pixels, and so you can see that this border is about 1/3 the thickness of the top border. That's what 2 pixels look like. That's what 6 pixels look like. If I had this border as 6 pixels, it would be exactly the same as this border out here. If this border was 24 pixels, it would be much, much thicker. And so you can just play around with that thickness. I recommend solid borders. I have never used not a solid border. And then you just choose the color of the border. And you could pick a color from somewhere in the box here. If I were to grab a color picker, then I can choose the code here, and or you can choose a different shade. So here's the color of that red. I could choose a lighter red or a darker, like it's kind of a brick. And then the last part is easy sailing. All we have is the content that's in here, and this is just regular text. Here's an H3, a header, and I put a little bit of margin underneath, 12 pixels. No margin on the sides or above. I just wanted a little bit of space before that next paragraph starts. And then I chose the color, the font size, a line height. I made this bold, and then you move on to the paragraph. I'm gonna hop up here for the paragraph. I chose like a charcoal type color, black, dark but not pitch black, and then just the paragraph, and that's the extent. And so what this code up here did is we walked through the background color, the image, the position, centered all throughout, the background, we have to have it cover so that there's no white space behind it as we're scrolling. We don't want it to repeat, fixed. All of that is written on a single line right here, which is background. And so the CSS, you have these, you have your display, you have your height and your padding, and then your background right here, and you can write all of that on this line. And so I have the URL. This is the picture that I want to be in the back. This is how I want it to be centered horizontally and vertically. I want it to cover the entire background, and I put a dash here so to distinguish between the alignment and the cover, which is the image size. And then I put no repeat. It's fixed. Again, that's the magic of parallax right there, is the fixed. And then I have a background color, just in case. All of that is written shorthand right here. And that way you don't have to say background image, background position, background size, background, it's redundant because this is all background. And so you're able to just put the color, the image, the position, the size, the repeat, and the attachment all on a single line. And so this is much easier technique than what I've taught you in the past, but just as effective. And then you have the fun border radius, and then you have your border. This is also short form. You could put border 6 pixels, and then border, line is solid, and then border color is that. So this is called short form, and so I'm using short form for the border and for the background. And then we covered the div, which is the box. The second div would be the box, and that's pretty straightforward from what I had. There's no short form on this. And then the content of the box is right there. And so when you put that into Canvas, along with the other elements of the page, then you get an effect that looks like this. And it's a little gimmicky, I'll admit it, but like I said before, sometimes it's okay to be just a little bit gimmicky. It can be a lot of fun. And so we have the elements of the page, we have the title, some description. I created a couple of cards, and then an about me, and then this really pops on the screen. It's like, oh wow, for when it draws attention to here, but then it just keeps the students' interest, and I think it inspires them, like that was really interesting, so that they'll read the rest of the content that I have on the page, because all of my content is important for the students. It should be important, but sometimes you just need to wrangle them in and keep their attention. And I think this is a pretty easy way to do that. Hey y'all, so in editing, I didn't realize that my camera had cut out a few minutes into this production. Not that you needed to see my face the entire time. It's probably better that I wasn't there. But anyway, I just wanted to say thanks for joining me on this journey as I explore all the functionality that we can do with web design, and I hope to put out some more videos in the coming weeks and talk about more of the fun little things that I've found. I'll show you how I made that circle with the image from the Funko Pop. I actually went to Hollywood and I got myself an actual Funko Pop, and it has a little guitar and a camera, sunglasses, cargo shorts. And that's pretty much, you can always see me when I'm at Disney or at a high school football game. That's the attire that I'm wearing. Maybe I don't take my guitar to the football game, but I always have my camera and my sunglasses, and yeah, just a little bit about me. Anyway, thanks for joining me again, and until next time.
Happy Disney morning.